Politico has written an article about it, and I've seen it in one or two other places, but it hasn't been getting a lot of hype. But I think it will soon enough. I think it's very important. There's a new group of moderate Democrats, centrist Democrats. Now, you take a moderate centrist any way you like here, that have gotten together and that might challenge Obama on some issues. And mainly, the first thing they're talking about is his budget. They're worried about spending, that it's too much spending. And they are led by Ben Nelson of Nebraska, Mary Landrieu of Louisiana, and Evan Bayh of Indiana. Now, there are a number of other people on this little caucus. It's about 14 people. In fact, it's not that little. It's a very important middle block, and they might actually pull some Republicans into it at some point, too. Now, if they go off the reservation, Obama won't be able to get anything done, because that's a large chunk of Democratic votes he absolutely, positively needs to get to 51 for the budget, let alone to get to 60 for other things, so that they're filibuster-proof for other legislation. Now, there are some parts of the group, some members of the group, that I have more faith in than others. Claire McCaskill's in the group. I think that she is savvy and smart, both from on a political sense and on a policy level as well. So I'm glad she's in the room. Joe Lieberman's in the caucus as well. That gives me some cause for concern. The fact that Ben Nelson is one of the leaders of the caucus gives me great cause for concern, because he's a guy who peeled off and supported Bush on many of his policies, and those policies wound up being disastrous. So now, can this group do good things? Absolutely. Now, it can go one of two directions, and at this point, it is not clear which of those two directions it's going to take. But this could determine how Obama legislates and how much he gets accomplished in the next 4 years. So that's why I think it's a very, very important story. So what are the two different directions? One is they can say, hey, you know what? Look, we're fiscal hawks, and we want to make sure that the budget gets under control. So if you're going to allocate money to the bailout, for example, $250 billion, which then can be leveraged to $750 billion within the budget, well, we want to keep an eye on that and make sure that that doesn't get out of control. And there's some spending programs where we think maybe it's too heavy a hand, and we want to rein that in a little bit and make sure that the deficit is at a number that's still going to be very high, but that is going to be easier to rein in later down the road. If they go down that path, then I think this could be a great group. And they could help Obama to actually achieve post-partisanship, bipartisanship, etc., and get to sound middle-of-the-road centrist views that most Americans are going to be comfortable with. Or they can go in a different direction. They can go in a direction of, hey, these tax cuts, getting rid of them, we can't have it. Can't raise taxes on the rich. We got to make sure that we protect the upper income bracket. We got to make sure that we protect some of the industries that are being affected, agriculture being a top one, because a lot of the senators are concerned about that, the healthcare industry, etc. And these are the guys who pay our bills, and so this is what they pay us for, to watch their back, and we're not going to let Obama get the real change that he wants. Now, I'm going to be open-minded and say both things are possible, and I really do believe that. The first sign is not a good sign. There is a separate report now talking about how some senators, and some that are in this group and some that are not, and some congressmen as well, are uncomfortable with some of the tax increases to the top bracket. So here comes the money, yo. You know, you're wondering, how are they going to get with all these Democratic senators? How are they going to stop Obama's legislation? How are they going to stop his, plan for change? Well, a lot of those Democratic senators and congressmen have gotten there through a lot of contributions from a lot of those industries and the top income brackets. So they didn't pay those guys all that money not to come through for them in the clutch. And this is the clutch. So the first sign is not a good sign. It looks like the people with the money are looking to protect it, as we all knew. But that we knew that was going to happen. We knew the Republicans were going to back them. The question is, how many Democrats do they get on their side? And this is going to be the great struggle of the Obama administration. And is Obama going to be able to overcome these guys if that's the direction that they go in? Will we get some compromises that are better for the country if they for example, take some of the bailout money, in my opinion? Will we get to some compromises that we're not comfortable with but can live with? Or will they scuttle change altogether? These 14 so-called centrist Democrats will probably decide things. So this is our first sign that they exist, and that I'm here to tell them we got our eyes on you, for better or for worse. And we'll keep on tracking it through all the days and weeks and months ahead and see what they do. And I will look for all the signs of which direction they're going to go in, one of those two different paths that they can take.